I'm so happy to have you on our culture podcast.
Thank you so much, Marlon.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Big welcome. I mean, it's
Thank you.
another opportunity to really
Yeah.
just kind of unpack the theme for 2025,
Yeah.
which is really about elevate. And for us, elevate means that we want to go up. It means you want to move to the next level. It means that for many people, we sometimes tend to think that we're not in a position where we can move up or go to the place that seems impossible.
Yeah.
But this year, it's all about elevate. It's about irrespective of who you are, irrespective of where you come from, irrespective of what your past says about you or what people say about you. It is your year, it's your time, it's your season to elevate. So today we're going to be speaking about elevate your thoughts and elevate your condition. So I just maybe wanted to hear a little bit about what's your interpretation when you think about elevating your thoughts.
Yeah.
And maybe just share some insights there.
Okay, cool. I think for me, elevating my thoughts would be, or it means to me that I need to constantly challenge myself. I need to, I think I come from a spiritual background, so our friend Paul always speaks about renewing the mind.
Yeah.
And so elevation of the thought would mean to me to rid myself of my old ways and constantly trying to challenge the norm, even when it seems impossible, because that's the only way you're gonna ever rise up out of or in the face of adversity. No one that's ever done it, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you're an example of it also. No one that's ever done it as just went with whatever the status quo is.
Yes.
It requires you to have a strong sense of belief and just be unapologetic in whatever it is your belief system is and what you set out for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So the whole idea for you when you think of elevating your thoughts is it's not about the status quo, but it's really about this belief in something that is bigger and greater than what you could ever have. And I think for us, when we spoke about this year for the theme of elevate, we said it has to be God first.
Always.
Right? So it has to be God first, because at least you know there is someone that you can look towards, someone that you can seek. And I really like that. So for you, when we talk about elevating thoughts, because a lot of times they say the battle is in the mind, right? For many people, when you have a lot of people struggle with anxiety, for example, and when you are anxious, it means you are double-minded. It means that your thoughts is currently you're basically being strangled in your thoughts, and a lot of people struggle with that. So when we're talking about elevating your thoughts, it means can you get yourself to a point where you begin to think about the things that are pure, the things that are noble, the things that are good, the things that makes. So if we can start thinking that way, not thinking about how hard things are and thinking about how bad my life has been, but start thinking about what is possible.
Of course.
Thinking about, and we live in a country, of course, where there's a lot of unemployment, there's a lot of social challenges, like you've said, even from your personal background, you know the things that people are dealing with and things people are going through. And it's so easy for our thoughts to get caught up with the challenges and the pains and the trials of this world.
And it's like we can't see beyond.
So maybe just share a little bit about what are some of the things that you do as Clement when it comes to how do you elevate your thoughts or think beyond what your circumstances are or what the trials that you're going through.
Yeah, I think for me it starts out with my immediate setting where I find myself. So I make sure that I'm as I mentioned, I come from a spiritual background. So I make sure that I always try and stay closely knitted to my church community. Because it helps me a lot with just the way in which I navigate life in general. And I also just try to set myself like a personal routine that helps my thought pattern a lot. So I try to stay fit, I try to work out. I'm trying to get some of the guys also to come out and just do a nice workout.
Yeah, you didn't invite me though.
I mean, you're always running. You're way too fast for me, man. I don't think I'll be able to catch up. But yeah, so those are some of the ways in which I make sure that I stay elevated in my thoughts. As my personal routine, as making sure that I'm always connected with God through scripture. And obviously the work that we do just makes everything so much easier.
Yes.
Because now we're able to encourage the next person to not be put back by the immediate circumstances, but try and see beyond, try and challenge yourself.
Yes.
And obviously it's hard. Nothing that's great comes easy. But yeah, I do think that once you start applying just action to your thoughts, it also helps a lot.
Yes.
And that's also one of the things I'm really like trying to commit myself to do for this year and obviously going forward.
I love this. My word. You're speaking, it's like music to my ears. The thing about firstly, making sure that you are connected to God, right? Because that's important. He's the source. He's the foundation of everything. Then be connected to community, which is important, right? Because a lot of people, what we find is that when you start wanting to elevate your thoughts, the first thing people think they must isolate themselves, and isolation can sometimes be not such a good thing, because now your mind starts working overtime, as they call it, and you don't get paid for that overtime. so connected to community, but then also you said find a rhythm, find a routine, find a flow, because rhythms are so important. All of us need to find the rhythms that allow our thoughts to be elevated. And that is such a good thing, because that will lead me to the next thing that I want to talk about, actually. But then finally, you mentioned this idea of that elevating your thoughts is when you realize that life is not just about me, but it's about serving others. That even if I don't have much and I'm able to do something for someone else, what it actually does, it empowers me. That elevates me to a point where someone else, it becomes a priority, where someone else is now, and I absolutely love this. I never thought about it that way. That elevating your thoughts is when you think beyond yourself. Because if you just finding yourself just thinking about yourself, then that means you're confining, you're limiting your way of thinking. And I absolutely love that.
Thanks, Marlon. Thanks. It's all about trying to drive change through serving others and through encouraging others, because we all exist within this world, and it's just impossible to just go through life in a way that's self-centered. It's even if you're looking to elevate and you're looking to do great things in life, you'll most probably never be able to achieve any of what you set out for yourself if you try to do it as a mountain. Because no man is a mountain. That's a little quote there.
I like that. Let me write that quote down. Hey, I'm telling you. So there was this thing about finding your rhythm, finding your flow, and this is an important thing, because this talks about this idea that you need to, as you elevate your thoughts. So if you want to become the best sprinter, you was talking about me running. Even though for my schooling career, for those of you that don't know, I was in primary school, I remember for 6 consecutive years, I would run and people would sing, "Hier kom ons VP." To translate for those that are international, it basically means, "Here is our champion." Okay? And then the champion that people were singing, the stadium was in one accord, I would then come second last. Right? No, I would come last. There was only 1 year that I came second last, because the person that was last got a hamstring problem. So I was able to go past that person, and when I went past them, I said, I got
finally.
I celebrated. It didn't matter. Right? I really celebrated. So I do hold the record of the slowest times for 100 meters, until I realized that I was never meant to run 100 meters. That which I was destined to do was the 800 meters.
Sure.
And when I started running the 800 meters, I started winning, and I became the champion. So there's something about understanding what you are meant to do. And we so easily get caught up with when things don't work out. That our thoughts tell us, "Oh no, but that's not." So we find ourselves being restricted, but when we begin to move and find a rhythm and flow in areas that we are destined to be, it just changes a lot of things.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
It changes like your entire outlook and opens up the worlds of like possibilities to you.
Yeah.
So I think it helps a lot.
Yes.
And it all starts from something as simple as a thought, and where the source that you use to basically water your thoughts. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And so the second part of our conversation is really, so the one is really about elevating thoughts, and I think you really articulated quite nicely. So make sure that if you want to elevate your thoughts, connect with God. If you want to elevate your thoughts, connect with a community. A community of people that are big thinkers too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, not people that are going to think small. Because if everybody else is thinking small, guess what's going to happen to your thoughts? Exactly, right? It's the same like if you ever played football and you play with a team that's a team of believers, they start playing like champions, right? And there's something that happens when you move with a group of people that elevate their thoughts. So very, very important. And then of course you also shared with us, and this is the one that I want to zone in on, is make sure that if you want to elevate your thoughts, you have to also make sure that you find your rhythm. So finding your rhythm, finding your flow talks about conditioning. Right? You cannot become a champion if you don't train.
If it's both or nothing.
Right? And there's a wonderful quote, and I want to read this quickly. It says, if you have raced with men on foot and they have tired you out, then how can you compete with horses? If you fall down in a land of peace where you feel secure, then how will you even do among lions? In other words, if you truly want to be the best that you can be, then you need to elevate your condition.
Of course.
Right? How can you go and run with horses if you can't even run with men on foot? How can you tell yourself that you can fight with lions if you can't even hold your peace? Where you get angry for everything, and these are the kind of things. And there's a couple of things that I like about when we talk about conditioning. One is, when you elevate your focus, you elevate your potential. That you cannot become a champion without focus. And that one day there isn't something that you maybe want to share, or some of your own learnings, where that it was because of your focus that it brought about opportunities and potential.
Definitely. So I come from a little town called Atlantis, Marlon. Just on the outskirts of Cape Town. Guys at work like to make fun of me because I'm based in Mitchell's Plain now, and they like to say I used to travel to work with an airplane in the mornings. So I used to travel like 4 hours a day. At the time I used Slato because I couldn't afford to pay for bus fees. So that's how I normally traveled. But that's when I got the opportunity to actually just be part of the GLA program, which was headed up back in Tarantau, if you remember. But the way that opportunity, and obviously that opportunity opened a lot of doors for me. But the way it came about was just me volunteering on a Saturday back in this little small town called Atlantis, at church. On a Saturday. I was studying at the time also. So I just thought, hey, this thing that I didn't know about RLabs, just heard an announcement from the pulpit. Okay, there's this organization, they're planning on coming to Atlantis, planning on equipping the people. Because I think our pastors are very passionate about turning the church setting into like a kind of learning center that's holistic. And so obviously they were open to having RLabs at the church. I then decided, okay, let me just go find out what this is about. Got so inspired, I decided to actually start volunteering after I completed a couple of the short courses that were available. Out of the blue, I just had one of my leaders in church reach out to me, Michael Humbles, let me know, okay, this is opportunity. I don't know what it's about, but if you'd like to try it out, you can just enroll yourself and then obviously check it out. I then decided to do it, and obviously saw what the layout of the program was, how long it was going to run for. I think at the time the program ran for like six months. 6 months, that's correct. I then decided to just go ahead and check it out. It was very hard. Just the traveling in itself tired me because it was like 4 hours on the road. That's depending on whether traffic is tight or not. But I was looking for employment. I was looking to obviously just be part of a community that's looking to build one another up. And I think I found that. So that's just one of the ways in which I was able to elevate my conditions.
Yes.
Through just trying to see beyond
And
what's
yeah, and I like that because there's a couple of key lessons in this. One is your commitment. It would have been easy to give up, right? It would have been easy to say, I know it's too far, short traveling 2 hours, how am I going to do that? I could have been doing a lot of other things. So the lesson there is that you only rise with commitment. If you want to go up, if you want to elevate, you cannot go up if you're not committed.
No.
Like, I mean, and I think a lot of people, they want to get the rewards of going up, but they don't want to be committed. And I think that is such a beautiful lesson. But also, not only were you committed, but you were also consistent. So consistency turns you normal. Because remember, it is because you were consistent, because you were committed, that you find yourself in a season of elevation, where you find yourself going up. And the crazy thing is, the very thing that you experienced when people were coming into Atlantis and now saying, hey, we're going to do some training. I believe that's what you are now doing in the rest of the country.
Exactly.
Do you maybe just want to share a little bit about that?
So now I'm blessed enough to travel into other provinces and equip people in the same way that I've been equipped. I'm now able to teach a young man or a young lady how to deal with a computer, what the basics of a computer's functionality is about. I'm able to do design workshops with youngsters such as myself, come from similar communities. And I know we're all not the same, but we're very similar in the way we read. And so that's just a huge blessing, Marlon. I've been able to travel to. I think last year we went to Marikana, a community called Wonderkop. It's based in Marikana. I've been able to do some good work there with the people within that community. I've been able to go to George. We also just came back from a trip which was in not Timbalito, it was out in Zweden, which is in Krubega. That's the name of the city. And it's been a blessed journey. I want to say a very eventful one.
I'm so inspired, Clement. Thank you so much for sharing with us this idea of elevating your thoughts and elevating the condition. And you are truly testament that what you take in shapes who you can become and where you can go. So I'm hoping that those who listened and those who watched us have now got a little bit of inspiration to say, you know what, irrespective of what I'm going through, irrespective of my circumstances, I'm going to elevate my way of thinking. Right? I'm going to elevate my thoughts. And I know that if I can also elevate my condition, if I can elevate my focus, my commitment, and remain consistent, that I can go to places and see things that I've never thought would be possible. Kevin, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Looking forward to hosting you again.
Looking forward to it as well, Marlon.
Excellent. Thank you.